All right. Hello, everyone. It's Yvonne, and thank you so much for joining us for another Mornings with Mayish. Today, the ever-inspiring and uber-talented Sue Mcleary will be my guest to discuss her new initiative, #ILoveFlorists, and creating a space that supports growth, curiosity, education, and positive interactions between one another. I mean, who doesn't want to hear about that, right? So make sure you stay with us for the next, 45 minutes, hour or so. If you have any questions for Sue, go ahead and post those in the comments. And just a couple more things before I bring Sue on, and while we're waiting for everyone else to come on and join us live, I just wanted to remind you guys about our customer appreciation giveaway. We teamed up with an amazing marketing agency, Fresh Path, and we're giving away 20 marketing workshops over the course of the next year or so, a little less now that we've already done the first half of our contest, our giveaway. So you can select from 5 different packages in each round. And the second deadline is August 22nd, with the winners being announced on August 29th. So to learn more, go ahead and click on the link after the show. I'm going to post it in the comments. It's just a really great thing that we're doing, and people are loving it so far. So check it out if you don't know about it already. Good morning, Huntress Florals. How are you? The next thing I wanted to make sure that you guys know about is we collaborated with David Austin Roses, and we're providing a special volume promotion to use their roses throughout your entire wedding. It's a really cool promo that we have going on, and just wanted to let you guys make sure that you are aware about it. That totally came out wrong, but you know what I mean, right? I feel like I'm not speaking English sometimes. There is limited quantities, and we need the orders in 4 weeks in advance. We did like a really special shoot with Gilberto. We're going to repost that here soon again. It was amazing. He used one of the David Austin boxes. I think it was pretty in pink. It turned out spectacular. So that's up on our blog too somewhere, and make sure you check that out. But the first link that I posted, you can get all the information about the different packages that are available, and with the amazing price. So check that out as well after we're done. So I'm going to bring on Sue so we can get started. And here we go. Hey, Sue.
Hi.
How are you? Good, thank you. Before we start asking questions, I just wanted to also let everyone know that, Sue is kind of in a remote location right now. She doesn't have the best internet connection, unfortunately. So if things drop with her, or we might have a little funky audio here and there, just hang in there with us or watch the replay. But hopefully everything will go smoothly. But we haven't had much success over the last 15 minutes. So just wanted to throw that out there, that just set expectations. But now we're here, and I have Sue. It looks like she might have lost her connection already. Sue, are you here with me or no? Huntress Floral says, cheers to remote locations. They're so pretty with the spotty Wi-Fi, right? Isn't that the truth? Yeah, Sue's going to have to rejoin us again. Like I said, this will be a little bit of a crazy ride, but I know a lot of you guys are here for it, right? Hey, Sue.
Hi, I'm back.
Good, awesome. So we're going to get started. And before we start getting into the questions, can you introduce yourself a little bit and share about your flower story?
Sure. So I'm Sue. I've been for nearly 20 years now, which is wild. I college studying something completely different, and a friend of mine did make some jewelry for her wedding. I had that as a hobby, jewelry making. In the course of planning her jewelry, she asked if I could also design her flowers. And so it was by chance, this chance favor, really, that led me. But I completely fell in love with it as soon as I, in my hands. It really was a very overwhelming kind of life moment. Supposed to be a florist, so it was entirely by chance. But I've been.
Very good. I'm hoping the audio kind of is more smooth on my recording end. We'll see how this goes, Sue, but we might, I don't know. I know. We'll see how it goes. And Remy just barged in. So everyone say hi to Remy, my little Sharpei. There's his little curly tail walking out my office. So 20 years you've been in the industry. You've had quite the journey. I know you are big in kind of looking outside of our own industry and kind of looking to other industries as well. So,
Mhm.
when we were talking about preparing for today, I know you wanted to talk a little bit about like how the food world compares to our own floral industry. Do you want to touch on that a little bit?
Yeah, so I think if I wasn't a florist, I would be a chef. It's something that I studied. I'm in love with food. I'm in love with travel, and so I think about between the two industries a lot. And I find that talking about the floral is a little difficult when you're talking to the public sometimes, and so I often use restaurant or I draw comparisons between the two industries similar. How I see it is food, food, the working with food, it's an art, but it's also a service. So you're providing, but you're also, if you are really engaged, passionate chef story through your material selection, through the recipes that you're really like communicating your values by your choices, and you're communicating your history, what you're passionate about, what where your travels have led you, originated from. And I think people understand that in the food world because last I don't know 30 years really embraced uh, as like a valuable um, part of our lives. And I think that enjoyed kind of this renaissance. And so people are used to seeing chefs as artists. People are thinking about food as an experience, not just, um, some. And I think florists are similarly kind of going through that renaissance now, years, and really coming to a peak now. So I've already been down that path. I often talk about the food world when I'm trying to floristry is an art. We're providing a service, yes, but we're also communicating our values through our work. Um, yeah, does that make sense?
Yeah, totally makes sense. And segueing into the meat of the conversation. So, talking about the floral industry, obviously you're very passionate about education, connecting with others. So you came up with this idea of hashtag I love florists. So can you talk a little bit about what this hashtag represents to you and why you decided to kind of pursue this campaign?
Yeah, I did have, I came into floristry from the outside. It felt like to me, excited to be a florist. I was so excited, but everybody it seemed that I talked to, especially some friends I had at the time, some mentors I had at the time, kind of discouraged me. Some of them flat out discouraged me, but I think that floristry is kind of this hobby craft, depth, and I would never make any money at it. I would be stuck in a replicating little coffee mug arrangements. Um, I really encounter negative or limited view about what floristry is, and I say since then. But I always felt myself kind of defending floristry. Immediately recognized it was a way to fuse my interests, my love of nature, um, and my love of entertaining and travel, and all of these interests really came together. That I felt like this uh, instantly seemed like something with a lot of rich, and I was disappointed with how, the public kind of viewed it at the time. I kind of came at floristry from this defensive posture, like trying to really be a beautiful, amazing art form, just like sculpture, just like painting, being a chef. And so I've feelings for many years. And I think that I feel my role now is to articulate this to the public, to surprise them and continue to that make them see that floristry is an art that evokes emotion and that can surprise and can communicate values, creative growth in florists. So hopefully giving techniques and method to florists so that they can express themselves, the medium, and create work that's really, engaging, sustains their creativity.
Right.
So all that I created because I feel like I have to take action to kind of collect in one place a lot of these kinds of influences, like the hashtag turns into a place where people can visit and get content, resources, methods, techniques, encouragement, can, really make the work they want to make.
Yeah. And I love that idea. And there are, like Facebook groups, and there's like some other things out there, right, that have like a bunch of different people kind of sharing. But there's kind of there's the yin and the yang to that, right? And then I think there's kind of the one side that I think you're trying to diminish a little bit, right? More of like the negative talk and all of that. Do you kind of want to address that a little bit? Because I know that was kind of a piece of this as well.
Yeah. I guess I got frustrated. You know how like noise hits harder than positive, and you just, when you encounter it, it just like weighs on you. So I don't feel like there's
Yes.
a ton of negative voices out there, but there are a few that are pretty, or, kind of got under my skin a bit. And I just, not to, but I wanted to start something where just the harping could go and contribute to, like when I encounter a new florist who has a pain, I just feel so strongly that I need to offer something of use, not just, well, you're really doing that wrong, or you really could be doing it in a better way, or makes me look down on your inexperience. Us as a field, we need to kind of band together, push out, technique, method, sustainable solutions, and answers to these pain points if we want to elevate as in kind of picking each other apart, or, just continuing to, not share them and not kind of pay it forward once you, reach a level of your business. I think as an industry, we're still, to, convince people of our value. So the more we can lift each other up, elevate our industry, and all benefit from that.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously, like, we feel strongly about that too. I feel like we try to contribute and give free resources and education and just share and be transparent. But you are right. Like when we see some of like the negative comments, and we've seen plenty like over the years, it's, even though we've done so much good, those kind of stick with you a little bit, right? Even though it isn't a ton of people, it's a few. It kind of sticks with you, and you're like, wow, okay, like, what did I do? What happened, or how can we avoid this? And so I think it's good. I know it's uncomfortable to talk about, but I think it is good to talk about it here and there.
Mhm.
And just as a reminder too, for people when they are kind of interacting, and sharing, and just to try and be a positive force. That's what I, the kind of the legacy that I want to leave. I think that's how you feel too. Just being a positive force in our industry, I think will benefit so many more people than kind of being the opposite of that.
Definitely. And if you really care about change or progress, if you're not offering a solution or offering steps that people can replicate to be successful, you're not contributing to the solution of the problem or getting rid of the problem that's bothering you so much. I've in the past have been really vocal about politics, and I get really upset, but I've realized with some time and like some introspection that, voicing a problem is not really lending, you know, nothing concrete to the solution of that problem. I think a better way is to really pick apart the problem and see how you can contribute to, solving a shift of focus for me
Right.
personally. And it applies to all aspects of life, politics or sustainability or anything really.
Yeah, absolutely. So I know the hashtag I love florists has been around for a little bit of time, and actually, I'll post a
Mhm.
link here after I ask my question. But do you have some accounts that are contributing regularly, and kind of what type of content do you see being shared?
Um, so when I introduced it, I encouraged, step by steps or free resources or, things that like little nuggets it from right away. And it's used for a variety of reasons. Some people are just posting on it, like, a link to buy a class or attend a workshop, which is just fine. But consistently share, meaty kind of how to resource. I hope for the hashtag and what I hope, it grows into. One person is from her start, as an educator, has always offered a ton of free reading. She's such a friend to florists. She's really interested in offering people a lot of value, so she's always contributing in that way. And she's using the hashtag here. And
Will you repeat the name? Because I feel like it bleeped out a little bit.
oh, sorry, Allison Ellis.
Okay, yes.
Yeah, Allison. And then Anne Van Midden has been using it, and I think she's a great florist. There's a lot of encouragement.
I think Sue's internet connection went down. Yeah, it's saying 0 internet connection for her. So just give her a second. So the first name she said was Allison Ellis. The second name was Anne, and I missed the last name. Are you back? There you are.
Yeah.
Okay.
So sorry, you guys. I'm cursed. That I swear it doesn't matter. I could be
It's
like the center of.
it's okay. No worries.
Yeah. So Allison Ellis and Van Mans and Floral Society. Those are three that come to mind. But there's putting together actually in the next few weeks kind of a resource guide for that students of floristry and floral curious people can also use, but like to offer some lists of places that I go so that people can have this list in front of them of affordable, really meters. I follow a lot of people.
I feel so bad. We have this happen once in a while. I feel like I've had really good luck lately with having good internet connections for my interviews. Just some days don't go well. This is one of those days. But what Sue has to say is so important. So, Sue, do you want to pick up where you left off? You were just talking about how you're putting together a list of some people that have like that you follow that have like meaty content that they offer to the industry
Yeah.
and to
Blog series. I'm probably going to call it resources for floral teachers on teaching and learning floristry, something like that. And I want to offer, I have such a long list of names that I follow and places I go for info to learn myself. So I'm gonna put those resources when they're done.
Awesome. Yeah. So let me know when that's done so we can share it as well. I know we need to get better at using the hashtag. I knew about it and I know Allie knows about it, who does all of our social media stuff. But we're definitely going to be better at using that hashtag so that way, all of our free content gets out there as well. So thank you for the reminder, and everyone else too that is watching. I hope that you participate as well. I think this is such a really great initiative, and I think just kind of backing that, and it'll just again help people raise other people up in a very positive way, which obviously we love, and it's really exciting. Sue, so in preparing for today, you also mentioned that floristry consists of a rich landscape that many may not be aware of. Can you kind of talk a little bit about what that may include to help those who maybe want to expand their horizons and kind of see things outside of what they might see with, we all have kind of blinders on and we have to purposely kind of take those off and look at other things. So I think you'd be a great person to kind of help us expand on that and learn a little bit.
Yeah, that is, I feel like floristry, that the medium, in itself is beautiful, like are different than just a tube of paint, or a pencil that you draw with, or clay that you know form into. Our medium is a little bit different. However, it is just like, and there's principles of design, principles of art, principles of composition. And there's, all of these kind of art principles to explore. And a service, and often when we jump in as florists, we pay to, make money and continue, sustain work that we often kind of skim over or jump over or completely miss, portion of floristry, which is exploring. And I think a lot of people also come at it from kind of this rebellious artist uh, perspective where they don't want to, there's a lot of talk about rules and so on. So for whatever set of floristry as an art expression isn't time or value as other mediums, I really encourage people to, find an instructor who's talking about, for instance, the golden ratio is the mathematical represent organizes itself, and we work with natural materials. So if we have a principle of the golden ratio, we can use it to inform our design. For me personally, that opened up this whole world of possibility, and it allowed me to analyze my work and just up my eyes to golden ratio. I feel like there's a lot of information on how to make things. Design. This is how you make a bouquet. This is how you make wearables, even. But resource, a place to learn about these design principles. I really feel feel like your work will take on a new, more fulfilled. You'll be more interested, like you'll be stimulated for longer into these principles. So that's what I mean about rich landscape of instruction is very surface, and that's totally fine. I understand why, but as an artist, you have to like explore your medium engaged. I feel like people burn out because they don't ever give them to get to the depths of what's possible. And I think that really makes it more fulfilling to have some knowledge of the art that are there, whether you talk about them or not. They're there. To see them and recognize them. It really does start to feel like an art and less like a service. So instead of like assembling a salad, learning, the master sauces in French cooking, for instance, or it's deeper. There's more there.
Right. So you mentioned kind of one concept, and I know there's probably hundreds more, thousands more of, things like that to learn. Like, so where do people go to learn that? Like a true floristry class? Like, are there books? Mm-hmm. Like, how do people learn things like that?
For myself, I got a certification at the Michigan Floral Association. So a lot of programs. So I would definitely explore that, like some formal certification. If you're more experienced, then just picking up a few floral textbooks, fundamentals textbooks. I have several. I have the American textbook, and it has a great glossary. So all of these terms, like about line, visual weight, the principle of rhythm through a composition, all of these principles concisely explained in a floral textbook like the one I mentioned. So it have on hand. And then studying with a master florist like Gregor Lurch or Hitomi Gilliam. I often will go to the Borma Institute YouTube tutorials. And personally, I'm going at the Borma Institute this November with Gregor Lurch so that I can really latch on to the skills that are earned when you're a master florist. Like a master florist is someone who has a really, really deep understanding of the design principles, can really articulate them very well and comfortably and straight them in their work. But also a master florist is someone who can make their own structures. Having a vase and designing the flowers into the vase, you're making the vessel, out of nature, an armature or a flower holden. And I think that is like the next level for me personally, but also thing to see when you see a florist who can create everything out of their own hands, composition. I think that's really exciting.
Absolutely. The institute that you mentioned is called Borma. Am I saying that right?
Borma, yeah.
Okay.
Yep. It's a family they're in Aalsmeer, so close to the Dutch flower market, same town. It's Boerma.
Okay, great.
Borma.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I'll try and link all of that for you guys. And then what was the name of the textbook too called again that you mentioned that you like a lot?
Yeah. It's Institute of Floral Design. AIFD.
Institute of Floral Design. Okay. Okay, because the American part got American, their one. Okay, Institute of Floral Design. Great. Perfect. Yeah, so I'll try and find links for all of that too to include in the show notes because, we love show notes and links and all of that and how to get to everything. And it looks like we've lost Sue again. She'll come back. So like, as I mentioned, this replay, I will definitely be editing it to kind of edit out kind of these longer pieces of silence and awkwardness. And then I'll put the replay up on our website and along with the show notes. Hey there.
Hi.
10th time the charm.
Yeah.
No problem. Okay, so Sue, before we wrap up, I definitely wanted to talk to you about your experience at this year's AIFD Symposium in Vegas that just happened. I've actually seen a lot about your program, just a lot of people talking about how exciting it was and how just impressed people were with the content that you shared with everyone. So can you just talk a little bit about what your program was? It was called Flower Forward.
It was a real honor to be asked. Hitomi Gilliam was chair this year. And so I decided to talk about kind of those two driving that I mentioned earlier. One, to elevate floristry by drawing the public in, impressed about what floristry is, and then also offering solution-based information to florists so that they creativity and less like on the pain points of floristry. So those are my two driving motivations. Took the intent behind those two and created a program that I called Flower Forward. Offered ideas based on really simple methods and really floral materials, and offered several ideas, making those four, commonly found floral materials that I chose, and hopefully offering surprising kind of innovative uses for that. I decided to work with solidago, calla lilies, and so with each of those four, I offered ideas on how you can stretch them and create interesting, innovative work, even when you don't have, all of the goodies. And that's really appropriate right now because of sourcing issues, of course, and issues. People are having trouble financially. So I did splashy program showing lots of cool, expensive flowers. I would still engage and still contribute, even when you don't have everything, in your world at that moment.
I love that. So I heard you say solidago, calla lilies, and what were the two others?
Agapanthus, carnation.
Agapanthus and carnations. That's awesome. And we don't see that very often. Usually when people do presentations or programs or even workshops, that type of thing, when people are asking us for flowers, they want like the most novel thing or the most exciting thing, and not just the basic flowers, the basic everyday flowers. So I love that concept, and I think that's so powerful. So I just wanted to say thank you for that, because that in itself is amazing.
Of a funk, like when COVID hit, everything was canceled. I had a new book out, the book was canceled, and like everybody, I was super disappointed with, everything just stopping. So the way I brought myself out of that funk was to focus available to me at the time, and choosing as a creative practice, focus on that one thing and stretch it in different ways and experiment with it. Creative, like deliberate practice really like inspired me. So it's kind of been an ongoing creative practice ever since. Yeah, it felt natural to choose things that were kind of ordinary or and expand on them.
Yeah, very good, very good. So I just got a reminder from M, who's watching on Instagram. We are talking with Sue Mcleary today about her hashtag I love florists, right? I love florists.
Florist? Mm-hmm.
Yep. I put a link, and then of course I'll share that link in the show notes, and everything, the replay and everything will be up on YouTube, Facebook, and we'll post on Instagram too, probably in a day or two, because I'm gonna have to do a lot of editing on this one. So maybe
Yeah.
even like I'm off on Friday, guys. So maybe on Monday, I'll try my best though. And then also I skipped one of the questions that I did want to ask you. In the very, very
Mm-hmm.
beginning, kind of you were talking about going in the defense mode about defending what you do for a career. So do you have any
Mm-hmm.
advice for florists who still may be in defensive mode about their chosen career and kind of how to kind of get through that and maybe how to have that conversation?
Yeah. I think defense mode can manifest, um, but I think focusing on focusing on, on expanding, my own horizons, like what's possible, what's happening around the world, what's happening in our country, what organizations are kind of like grounded me and kind of gave me, um, the courage, defend that this is a valuable practice. This is an art form. This is definitely a field where you can make a living. It's a creative field, so it has associated with a creative field. But I guess the more I kind of and um, learned as much as I could about the field, less defensive and just more confident. And so that defensiveness turned into a sort of like clarity that yes, this is a valuable, academic career. Um, so yeah, I think I see more and more of that with florists in general. I think our culture is really accepting art form. There's TV shows about us, there's articles about us all the time. So I think they experiencing a real renaissance.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to add to that too, TV shows and all of that, there's Bloom TV, which is a whole network. So that's really exciting too. And I think that's just gonna again help elevate and again just create more awareness, more appreciation, and of
Mhm.
course then more joy as well with flowers. So that's all that we can want really.
Yeah, and maybe we don't love everything we're seeing on those. So I pay attention to the sustainable floristry movement quite a bit, and I try to participate there. Of the things that they're seeing in the media, a lot of dyed things, a lot of painted things, and so on. There's positives that come out of the exposure. That I see it generally as a step forward. There's improvements that can be made, of course, happen over time, but in general, we're advancing forward by this exposure. So I think it's a
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I love having that mindset. So Sue, do you have any exciting events or new projects that are coming up? Because I know your brain never stops working. That little bit of time that we got to like spend together in Quito, that seems like forever ago, right? Forever and just around the corner. Just yesterday.
that was amazing.
Yeah, I got to peek a little bit about how your brain works, and I know that it's always just nonstop. So I'm just curious to see. I'm sure you have something new coming up.
I do, in fact. I just read, and it'll be called Flowers for All. It's coming out next spring, and it's meant to be interesting to any flower lover in general. There's a number of projects that are simple enough for a novice, but also project enough for florists. So that'll be exciting. And I used mostly locally sourced flowers for that book. So I'm really proud of that.
Awesome.
Class in November. So I'm very, very excited about this. It's a year process, 10 days. I'm also teaching at the Borma Institute when I arrive, November, and then I take the master class, the first portion, and then I have a year of self-study, assistance, guided self-study, and then I go back in the spring to finish the third part of the master class. So that's really exciting. That's kind of, up leveling what I do so I can be a better teacher and proponent of floristry. Yeah. And there's the World Cup in Manchester, England. So I'm not participating. I'm attending because I think it's such an amazing competition and about.
Yeah. Is there a way for people to watch the World Cup if they're not there? Do you know?
I do not know. I know there's a lot of coverage. Like a lot of people will be blogging and, offering video and kind of coverage, but I don't know viewing available.
Okay.
Not certain.
No problem. No problem. Well, you have so many exciting things coming up. Congratulations on your new book, Flowers for All. You'll have to come back on when it's going to go live and we can talk about your book and maybe do a giveaway or two. That'll be fun.
Definitely. Yeah, I'd love that. And I'll have stronger internet connection at that time.
Yes. I love it. Well, thank you so much, Sue, for coming on, talking about #ILoveFlorists and everything else in between. This was amazing. Again, guys, the replay will be up soon on the blog. I'm hoping the audio comes through a little bit better on that, but we'll see. And if not, maybe I can have Sue on again sometime soon in a couple months, and we can talk a little bit about this again too. And again, yeah. Thank you, Sue, so much. Thank you, everyone, for joining us for the last, 50 minutes or so. And that's a wrap on today's Mornings with Mayish. Next week, mark your calendars because I have our newest Mayish design star, Ashley of Garden and Grace Floral Design. She's going to be chatting with me about the creative process that she used for her underwater floral installs that we showed a little bit about. Next month's video is going to be friggin' breathtaking. It's literally, you get to see the whole thing underwater install. It's amazing. I got to see the pictures and we're just gushing over it. So mark your calendars and stay tuned for more details, and I will see you all soon. Have a great day. Bye, everyone.